He's one of People magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People, star of CSI New York, and a New York Times best-selling author. Very impressive, and he joins us now live to tell us about his new book, Wealth Cure, and we welcome Hill Harper.
Hey, Conn, how are you?
All right, Hill, you got to tell me, how awesome is it being selected by People magazine as one of the sexiest men alive?
I don't know. You got to ask Brad Pitt because that was a couple years ago. I got to get back in the gym, and you know, Brad Pitt and Taye Diggs are on that list every year, so I got to do something different.
Well, Hill, the good news is you're cancer-free, but take us back to that day when you were first diagnosed.
You know what? I was there in Atlanta. I was actually on hiatus from CSI New York. I was shooting the film For Colored Girls with Tyler Perry, and I woke up one morning in Midtown, and I couldn't swallow. I was supposed to go to work and go to work that day, and I knew something was really wrong. And you know, there's some wonderful doctors in Atlanta, and I'm very grateful for the treatment I received there. And they diagnosed me with thyroid cancer, and I had been working on a book about money and finance that hopefully addressed people's issues, just very clear information about financial literacy. But this diagnosis made me go even deeper into what true wealth really is, and you know, certainly realize that without your health, without your loved ones and family, friends, and you know, all the money in the world doesn't matter, all the celebrity in the world doesn't matter, the movies, TV, doesn't matter. And so it's a journey book that talks about building a truly wealthy life. I'm very proud of it. It's very personal, but at the same time, I think there's real nuts and bolts information in there that's been shared with me from a number of sources that hopefully people can really get something out of.
Hill, we've always known you to be such a positive person, but I can only imagine that once you heard the word cancer, everything else must have been a blur.
Well, you know, what it was so interesting is that when I knew something was really wrong, I was actually, went back to the, you know, they did all the tests. They stuck needles and did these, what they call fine needle ultrasound guided biopsies. So they stuck 16 needles into my neck and it withdrew different fluids from my thyroid. And then I had to come back a week later because the pathologist would look at the slides. And the time I knew something was really wrong was when I walked in the doctor's office. When I was there before, you know, I'm a pretty jovial guy, and you know, a lot of the nurses wanted to take pictures, and we were joking and having fun and joking with the doctors. And when I walked back in that day to get, you know, my diagnosis, no one joked with me. They said, "Hello, Mr. Harper, your room is da da da." And right then it hit me, you know what? Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. And it was true. It was true.
Well, Hill, what actually led you to hop on a train and travel across America?
You know, I wanted to really take a journey, and not just metaphorically. I wanted to actually take a journey to spend some time and clear my head. And so I got on this train that was going to take me from LA to Chicago. And, you know, I got a cabin car. You know, I've been on many trains before, but never overnight and all the things. And it was incredible because it reminded me, number one, just looking out the picture window of my room, how beautiful and vast our country is, how amazing this country really is. And also all the people I met in the dining car, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the people who got on the train and off the train, and how many wonderful people there are in the world. And it gave me time to reflect and write as well. And so it was a wonderful journey for me. And my favorite books, to be quite honest, that are life books and motivational books in general, are journey books. A book like The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is about a journey, and hopefully you hold up a mirror of your own life and learn from the character's journey. And hopefully people with The Wealth Cure will get that same feeling when they read about my journey.
Hill, did the title Wealth Cure come to you while you were on the train?
No, you know what? It came a little bit later when the idea came for me that you could apply the same type of curative measures that doctors use for curing an illness to curing your financial illness, our financial illness. You know, we have a debt addiction in this country, and it's not just about the government. It's about our personal debt addiction. And you know, in 1980, we were carrying collectively $355 billion of personal debt. Fast forward to 2008, we were up to $2.8 trillion in personal debt. So it's not just the government that has a debt problem. And so I wanted to apply the same curative measures. So the same process. You first have a diagnosis. And so we have to have a diagnosis of our issues, where we are with money, and that's making a budget and being very clear, the debts we have, very, very clear about where our money goes. Then we have the treatment plan. And then it's not just good enough to come up with a plan, because it's just like a diet. You can come up with a good plan, but you got to follow through. You got to comply with that first step. And then you have to maintain it, because a lot of us can do it for a day, a week, a month, but do we maintain it? And that's where the real change happens. Then ultimately you're in that mode where you're thriving. And any of us can build financial literacy. We can build material and monetary wealth. We can also build our life account just as we build our bank account.
Hill, before we wrap up, you're such an amazing, inspiring guy. What advice would you give to me and our viewers right now before we wrap up?
It's really, I would say, identify what your wellness or wealth factors are. What are you really passionate about? Take money off the table, first of all. Stop using money as an excuse. I really want to do this, but I can't afford it. I really want to, no. Take that away. If money was not part of the equation, what are you passionate about? What makes your heart beat faster? What do you love? Now, we know that. Let's reverse engineer a plan to get there. Money is not an obstacle, it's a resource. We either use it effectively or we use it poorly. And we can figure out how to get there. When I graduated from Harvard, I was $75,000 in debt, but that debt was the best investment I ever made. If you're living in any kind of debt, credit card debt, first thing, get rid of that. You got to. That's the stupidest money of all. Got to get rid of it, or you're always going to be trapped. And then we can move on to be more affirmative with the steps we take to make a difference in our own lives.
Hill, thanks for your inspiration. Thanks for your positive attitude and giving us a wealth of information in your brand new book. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope people like it. Please grab it when you can and hit me on Twitter and let me know what you think.
Hill Harper, you can see why he's one of the sexiest men alive, and he's got such a positive attitude. It's always great when you meet a Hollywood star and realize they are really cool in real life. Job well done, Hill. We'll be right back.